Welcome to another round of Charleston Battery Weekly here with SDH Networks and OSG Sports. Busy week, and there's a lot of games in a very short period of time that we have to go over. We'll look back at Atlanta United 2 and the 1-1 draw that was in suburban Atlanta midweek, and we'll get you ready for the matchup against the Charlotte Independents coming up this weekend. Mike Kelleher joins us in the A block. Mauro Cichero will join us in the player spotlight. So it's the M&M show. So I guess it's treats this time around with 1M and 2. Mike and Mauro, Mike Kelleher, Mauro Cichero, hanging out with us this week. I'm just John. Mike Kelleher just around the corner here on Battery Weekly.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski & Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, Charleston Battery Weekly. Time to catch up with VP of Operations, Chief Operating Officer, Club President. It's been all the way up the board, Mike Kelleher. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us. It's good to be back with you for another season of the show.
Hi, John. Looking forward to it.
All right, so this is the busy part of the schedule, but let me go back a little bit and kind of get everybody acquainted with how we got here. How much of a learning experience was it for you and for the front office to get into a season in USL Championship in a new venue with all the moving parts? How much of a challenge was it to get here?
It's been a monumental challenge. Obviously, not just new owners, new brand, new stadium, new office, and then throw the pandemic into the mix. Unprecedented times, I think, is the phrase we've heard more often than not. But it's certainly been a huge steep learning curve. But I think we've come a long way.
What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself as an exec?
I think to be flexible, be adaptable. I think that's one thing that we've I think we as a team, not just myself, we've all done well at that. And you're learning as you go, and no day's been the same. So it's certainly be flexible, adaptable, and take each challenge as it comes.
Patriots Point. What's your early report card in heading to Patriots Point?
Very excited. I mean, if you've seen any of the pictures, I'm sure you have on TV, it kind of really doesn't do it justice. It's been transformed for those people that have seen the facility when the College of Charleston have played there. It was hard to imagine what it looks like now, and huge testimony to our ownership group and Rob Salvatore. When he first took me around it and said, this is going to go there and we're going to have these seats there, it was very hard. You couldn't visually see it, but you see it now. It's night and day, and we're really excited to fill the place with fans when that day comes. And
speaking of the fans, I know that without them there at Patriots Point to share in the experience of this sprint that is the 2020 USL Championship regular season, how has the team been able to stay in touch with not just the soccer community, but the Charleston community as well, to still be a part of that fabric leading into the season and still now as the season has gotten back underway?
Well, look, I think that's been very difficult because of it's been hard to get the team, very different to years gone by, to get the team into the community because of the pandemic. We've had to pretty much quarantine the team as much as we can without putting them into an MLS-style bubble or NBA-style bubble, but we've had to be very careful. They haven't been able to go into schools, do youth coaching, that sort of thing. But that's where we've become adaptable, and there've been Zoom calls, and I know that in our front office have led, not necessarily with our players, but we've had Zoom tailgates with the fans, and so we've tried to keep in touch, try and be adaptable, be creative, but it's been difficult for the players, to keep in touch with the community as they have done in the past.
And having players that are basically going from residence to practice, back to residence. I know that there are times when they need to go out and make the runs to the store and things like that, but it is a very linear existence for them to make sure that the Battery can put the best face on everything that's going on in the USL Championship, unlike what we've seen in other sports.
No, absolutely, and it's a challenge that we all face. That if we want to try and get back to some sort of normality, that we have to lead our lives a little bit differently to 6 months ago, and I think credit to the players that they've done that, and that we're able to report a full bill of health, and that we're continuing to see them play and put the games back on. So. It's different times, and hopefully it won't last too much longer, but we're willing to adapt if that is the case.
Group standings right now, and it is going to be a sprint, but you're playing the same guys in group, and it's make sure that you finish number 1 or number 2 to get into the postseason. It's Tampa, it's you guys, it's Atlanta United 2, and the Miami FC. It is basically trading haymakers for 15 rounds, trying to make sure that you're number 1 or number 2 in the group.
Yeah, I mean, it's added a different level of excitement. I think that, we're going to become very familiar. We're already very familiar with Atlanta, and I know you're going to speak about them very soon. But it's a lot of familiarity. We see these teams 4 times, and as well as other teams, and I think it's added again a different level of excitement to make it more localised and regional, and into the playoffs, hopefully.
And we talked about that playoff, the schedule crunch that is currently going on in this particular stretch of the season. Go down to Tampa. That's a hop, skip, and a jump. Getting ready to play the Rowdies down there. Al Lang's traditionally a tough environment. Then you have to rebound, come back quickly, and it was a rotated side going up against Atlanta United 2, and you end up with a point at the death.
Yeah, look, I think I know you called the game excellently, and we was very fortunate in many ways to come out with a point. From what I saw, we looked good for a point at least until Atlanta scored, and then Atlanta did a great job of almost shutting up shop and working very hard to try and close out the game. And the testimony to our players, they've been on that long trip to Tampa, and they've gone again to Atlanta, and they kept going, and like anything, you go to the final whistle, and many teams have been successful over the years, and we'd like to think that's one of a trademark of a hard-working Charleston Battery team. So very pleased to come away from a point which felt like a victory doing it at the time we did.
And then all of a sudden you get to hop back on a bus this weekend, and you're heading to Charlotte to take on the Independents. And this is for folks who are hopping into the USL Championship for the first time this year because of the expanded markets and the group stages and all that kind of stuff. This rivalry with Charlotte kind of flies below the radar, but now here's the chance, even though this year they're in a different group, to expose folks to what Charleston and Charlotte mean to the fabric of USL.
Yeah, and I think that was, you go back to when we were talking, or USL were looking to reschedule, regroup the schedule for this season. That was one of the things that we wanted to do. We said, look, we know logistically or geographically we're going to have to play the Florida teams because we're the furthest south, but we we want to continue. We want to be able to play our local rivals, which is obviously Charlotte and NCFC. So thankfully that's the case. We look forward to playing Charlotte Saturday and then NCFC in a few days' time after that.
Nothing like a sprint that has to keep you on your toes, eh?
Absolutely. No, I mean, but it's great. I think it was a long time when we had players not playing, and there's nothing more they want to do than play. So, we're very excited. The games are coming thick and fast, and keep them coming as far as we're concerned.
All right, last question for you. Thanks for hanging out with us this week here in the A block. Mauro Cichero is coming up. He's player spotlight. When I mention his name, what comes to mind?
Perseverance. I think you've got a young man there who's had a number of injury problems over the last few years, and very happy for him. He's worked hard. He's come into he was a very late signing for us in March in terms of where getting the season started. But he's full credit to the young man. He's come in and took his chance, and he's he took the goal really well, and pleased for somebody. There's nothing worse than having a long injury. Or suffering with injuries as he has as a young player. So really pleased with him, and I hope he kicks on from here. As
always, the man with one of the biggest business cards in the administration in the front office for the Charleston Battery, Chief Operating Officer Mike Kelleher. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us here on Battery Weekly. Thanks for pulling back the curtain on the front office and what it's like to get to this point heading into a rivalry match this weekend. Thanks for being a part of Battery Weekly.
No problem. Anytime. Many thanks, John.
As we've said, Mauro Cichero around the corner. You're listening to Battery Weekly. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinsky of Apolinsky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, Charleston Battery Weekly B Block Player Spotlight. Time to catch up with the pride of Norman, Oklahoma. And we might talk a little Sooner football while we're thinking about it toward the end of the segment. Mauro Cichero hanging out with us. Congrats on the goal the other night to salvage a point against Atlanta United 2, and thanks for hanging out with us here on the show.
Thank you, John, and also thank you for having me on the show.
All right, so how does a guy get from North Texas SC and FC Dallas to Charleston Battery? How did all that go down?
I was drafted by FC Dallas and was there for about 2 years, rehabbing from an ACL tear, and things just didn't go as planned. So, I was kind of released last year and just kept training during the off season last year. And luckily, I got an opportunity to come out here on trial, and Coach called me up about a week after and said that he wanted me to come back and sign. So it was great news to hear that.
What's it been like for you? I know that obviously pandemic and dealing with COVID-19 is kind of wrapped up into this question, but what's it been like for you getting adjusted to life in Charleston? What's that been like?
Right, no, definitely a crazy year with everything going on. But I've actually been out to Charleston before. One of my stepbrothers works out here on some movie stuff, so I have been to the city before, and it's been pretty easy adapting. The guys have been on the team have been great. They've made me feel very welcome, and I would say it's pretty similar to Texas for me, so it hasn't been too hard.
One of the things that I like to get into with the guys is favorite restaurants, favorite haunts. Where do you gravitate when it comes to your food? Because the guys have been constantly telling me about this taco place that seems to be getting a lot of the team's business. What haunts have you found? What have you found about the town that when you've had the chance to do stuff other than have stuff delivered to your door? What have you thought about the town now that you've had it for another round?
Right. No, it's definitely been hard to get some dine-in stuff. Well, there's been a couple good places. I have been to Tiki Taco, which is the place that some of the guys
That's the one.
It's very good. But I've also been to Miller's all day for brunch. That was a really good spot that I went with my girlfriend. And then we also went with the team to, what's that oyster place? I'm slipping right now. Can't remember, but it's a very good seafood place on King Street. I can't remember right now, but that was a very good place as well.
But every single week, the guys are mentioning the taco joint, so I'm guessing that is the number one in the clubhouse for everybody.
That is.
Now, when it comes to how you pass your time, are you a video game guy? How are you away from the pitch when it comes to killing time?
Yeah, I like to play video games. I'd say that's probably a majority of my day, most of the day. But I also like to watch sports and just listen to music and do your normal 20-year-old things. So. All
right. So then, what video game are you locked into these days?
I would say it's a mix between Rocket League and Call of Duty right now. Probably have my most attention.
I was going to say, does anybody on the team go against you, or do you pair up with them in either of those?
I played Rocket League with Phil a couple times. He's a pretty good little player on that. And then Call of Duty, not really, because my roommate Deshaun, he has Xbox, so it's a little tougher to match up with him.
What's it like rooming with a defender?
Rooming with a defender? I mean, that's normal. There's nothing crazy. I've actually known Deshaun for a couple of years, too, because he actually went to my university his freshman year. So I had seen him during like the off-season and stuff. So it's pretty easy.
How has your game, evolved since your time at SMU when you were nominated for the Mac Herman? How has your game grown, you think?
I'd definitely say I've moved up the pitch a little more, like Coach wants me to here. While at SMU, I was more of like a holding mid that kind of held possession and try to create from deep. While here, I feel like I'm higher up the pitch and more in the box, trying to combine up top and get more shots off, which is nice.
Mauro Cichero, forward for Charleston Battery, hanging out with us this week in the Players Spotlight as they are getting ready for their match against Charlotte on the weekend. But let's go back a couple days. And what are your before we talk about the goal at the death? What were your remembrances, recollections? What are your takeaways from the tough match against Atlanta United 2?
It was definitely a tough match for us on the road, coming back from Tampa and coming off that loss. We wanted to come in and get the 3 points and get back on track. Atlanta has a lot of talented young men on their team, so they weren't going to make it easy for us. I'd say we controlled most of the game. We had some good chances. I mean, I had two good ones in the first half that fortunately didn't connect, and then we had a couple more in the second half to start off. And then them getting their goal off their only shot on goal of the whole game, it kind of put us on our heels, but it was a good reaction by the team to stay in it and keep chasing, and luckily we got one at the end there to salvage a point.
I was going to say, when Atlanta United 2 got the lead, what was the discussion amongst the guys, and then I guess in that last hydration break, knowing that you're a goal down, trying to chase the equalizer?
I mean, we had been creating already, so we kind of talked about how we had to just keep doing our thing and not give up, and I think that came to fruition with the last chance of the game.
Has anybody talked to you about the rivalry that is Charleston and Charlotte?
I have not heard about that. I had heard about Atlanta. but I did not hear about Charlotte.
Well, Charleston and Charlotte, because they're older, longer-standing members of the USL and soccer in the Southeast. This one's got a little added spice to it that's a little longer than the rivalry with Charleston and Atlanta United too. And I didn't know if folks had said, okay, yeah, when we go up to Charlotte, this one, because it's the Carolinas, this one's going to mean a lot. But so you're going into this one just thinking that it's the Charlotte Independence, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we just want to come in and and get the 3 points like every other team.
What has study hall been like, especially on a quick turn, getting ready for a match like this? Because if you play midweek, then you're having to bus all the way back home, maybe a regen day, maybe a study day, a couple of, maybe a practice session here and there. What has study hall been like getting ready for Charlotte?
Oh, right. No, it's definitely been a quick turnaround. We got home about, I'd say, 34 hours ago and went to bed at 4 a.m. and then you got to wake up and try to recover as much as you can. And then the next day you're off on the bus again and already up here in Charlotte again. So, I mean, we're doing our scouting, but, we want to take the game to them and not worry too much about them, just do our thing.
And I guess when you're on quick turns like this, it's more along the lines of focusing on what you can control, although that there will be a bit of a knowledge base about what the coaches have seen on tape and on iPads and things like that. But is it because of the quick turn you're focused more on what you guys can do and do it well as opposed to knowing what you're coming at in depth from Charlotte? Is that the way these days?
No, yeah, of course. I mean, I think we all believe that if we play our best game, we can beat anyone in the league, no problem. So that's what we try to focus on to make sure that we have the right intensity and we're playing the right way and we can finish our chances.
What do you think about this sprint that you're in right now with the USL Championship, with group play? I mean, it's almost got the World Cup feel to it, where it's group stage and you're trying to be one of the top two teams in really a tough group so far, with Tampa, who you faced, Atlanta United 2, who you faced, and the Miami FC. What do you think about this group stage sprint that they have this year?
Right. I mean, it is my first year here, so I don't have much experience in the USL, but it is kind of, makes it a little more competitive. Every eight conference match, since there are only 16 instead of the, I think, 34 that we usually play. It feels like the games are 6 points instead of just 3. So I think it's really fun for us, the players.
All right, last question for you. Thanks for hanging out with us and putting up with all these silly questions as everybody gets to know you as a member of the Battery. Life on the bus. I know it's a little different than it may be normally because of social distancing, COVID-19 and such, but what kind of intel can you give me about life on the bus? Who's loud, who's quiet, who's wearing headphones, who's playing games? Who are the jokesters? What if I was to hop on the bus, what would I expect?
Yeah, well, I can't speak for the other bus because we were taking 2 different buses. The other bus has more of the older players. But on my bus, definitely one of the louder ones has to be Renico Clark. He sits at the very back, and I sit towards the front. Definitely hear him quite a bit. But he's a funny guy, so no problem there. And I'd say most of the guys wear headphones. Probably the first 30 minutes more about talking. And then as soon as you get kind of situated on the bus and you're feeling comfortable, you try to get a little sleep so you can get a little recovery in for the game. So there's not too much going on the bus.
How long did it take you to get adjusted to life on the bus where you can sleep on a bus?
I mean, since we're taking 2 buses, we kind of have like the seat that we're sitting in plus a seat to our side on the other side of the bus available for us. So we kind of just lay out. But it is challenging to go to the bathroom because you gotta hurdle a couple guys to get there. You have guys who stick their legs in the aisle and you got to hurdle? Right. So you have you're laying down in your seats and then your legs go on the seat across from you. So you have all these like a line of legs that you have to go jump over to get to the bathroom. And
you being 6'4", I mean, I imagine that your legs are crossing the aisle pretty straight.
Oh yeah, it's pretty easy for me. No complaints.
Just figured I would put that info out there and find out what it's going. So I know that as you and I are talking, you're already up there, and just be safe, be well, have fun. And good luck this weekend against Charlotte. And thanks for hanging out with us on Battery Weekly. And we'll catch up with you on the flip side.
Right. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
When we come back, put a bow on a show. You're listening to Charleston Battery Weekly, OSG Sports, SDH Networks. We'll be right back after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinsky of Apolinsky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Time to put a bow in another show for Charleston Battery Weekly. Thanks to Mike, thanks to Mauro, and thanks to you for hanging out with us. Don't forget to go to Charleston Battery Weekly for all the information that you need when it comes to rosters, games, game times. Also go to ESPN Plus, the home of the USL Championship, and hang out and watch all the action there all season long. Reminder that the game is in Charlotte Saturday night. So look at your local listings, go to ESPN Plus, and watch the Carolina Derby between the Charlotte Independents and the Charleston Battery. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us as always. Good to catch up with folks on social media. Don't forget, follow me at OSG Nelson on the Twitters so we can have conversations all season long, whether it's about the Charleston Battery, the USL Championship, or just anything else on your mind. That's the story this go-around. Be safe, everybody. We'll see you next time.